opponents that, the big issue is economic development. We haven't been asked that. I would ask you to please allow one more question on economic development on what business we would specifically bring to this community. I think it needs to be answered, and I'm asking the panelists to allow that one more question to all of us. If necessary, I'll lead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Navarro, would you like to have that question repeated?
Yes, please. That'll be fine.
Sir. We've seen time and time again Laredo Police Department working on investigations to crack down on eight-liners who are not following the law. What's your take on the city's policy on eight-liner permits, as some establishments that were raided before have reopened and continue business?
It's very simple. If they've been raided and they're in violation and they're closed down, I don't think they should open again. They broke the law. One of the things that happens when these eight-liners come to the city to get permits to open, they come and say that they're going to abide by the rules. If they cannot abide by the rules, they should not be allowed to open. It's very simple. The burden on the police force is tremendous. And if we're not going to support our police force on what they're trying to do, then why are we putting these police officers in harm's way, or to go and inspect these locations or raiding these locations? It's very important that if they are in violation, our police force catches them or make a bust of some sort, that we support what they're doing to make sure that it doesn't happen again. These people tell us they're going to run their business a certain way, and they fail to run it that way, and that's where we have to draw the line as a city council and support our police force. Getting back to the idea of taxes and development in our community, if you look at the big picture, and that is something that city council has to do, you have to look at the big picture and what services we can bring. We can't sit and talk about how it's going to impact one individual. It has to be what's good for the city as a whole. And that is something that I want to bring to the table, because that's important. It's for the whole, so that everybody gets a break.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Santos, same question.
As far as the eight-liner are concerned, I mean, we see it rampant growing in our city. I really wish that the planning and zoning would either just allow it to just be in a certain district or certain area of our community, where it would ease our police departments to do the code enforcement that they need to do. I believe it's just a rampant problem that they're popping up everywhere, and the police department isn't large enough to enforce the laws, as far as I'm concerned. We need to put them accountable, and either they're abiding by the law or they're not. We need to go to our legislatures and knock on their doors and make them either make it right or wrong, whether they're going to be paying out cash or not. I think it's time and time again that these establishments get raided and they reopen under a different name or what have you. But, it's also the people that go in there. They're also put in harm's way when they get into a raid or what have you. We need to understand that, that they are also need to be paying taxes or revenue taxes on all these funds that come into the community. Yes, they pay for their permit, but do they pay for the amounts of cash revenue going into the machines? No, they don't. We need to put them accountable and put in our code enforcement to do a little bit tighter work on them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. Same question, sir.
Well, the maquinitas are illegal when you give out cash more than $5. That's state law. You can't give anything more than $5 in value. People are not going to go and spend their hard-earned money just to win a $5 gift certificate or a pack of toilet paper. It's common sense. It's illegal activity. I oppose that. The problem is that we have special interests that have allowed, for the city council to lessen the restrictions on these. I would propose that we create a new ordinance saying that you can only have maximum 5-6 machines per location. It's a recreational machine. It's meant for entertainment, like at Chuck E. Cheese. I have no idea why someone would ask for a permit for 100, 200 machines per location. I mean, what are they doing? Not even Chuck E. Cheese does that, and we're getting one at the mall. But one of the problems that we have is that we don't have enough law enforcement. And right now the sports venues tax is being used, and they're going to use that for the new baseball stadium. And some people want to use that for 4A and 4B. I want to use that, once we pay off that, for a crime control prevention district. Use the sales tax revenues that we generate to pay for more police officers. Congressman Henry Cuad just got us 22 new police officers for the next 3 years. What's going to happen after that? There is no long-term planning for the city of Laredo. That is why I am running. We have to find solutions in the long term. We cannot just react to problems and then hope nothing happens later on.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to our closing statements, Mr. Emilio Martinez asked if candidates could respond to his challenge regarding what business or businesses would you want to bring to Laredo as part of our economic development plan. Now, Mr. Martinez, if you'd like, you can include that in your closing statement.
But not as a question in and of itself.
Unfortunately, we're out of question time. But if you all would like to just bring it out, each of you can give 10, 12 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever you think, your ideas on what kind of businesses would be good to bring to Laredo at this time.
With respect to that,
Okay? Let me go ahead and get the first closing statement goes to Mr. Arechiga Jr.
Okay, thank you very much. In closing, here we are again, another election. You have and will continue to hear the same old catchwords: change, tax cuts, accountability, end of the status quo, higher paying jobs, transparency, and the infamous knowledge of how the city of Laredo works. Once again, the same old promises with absolutely no delivery. The root problem with our city government is that it is controlled by special interest groups. These groups have one motive, that being a big fat profit for themselves and the small group around them. An example, like I brought up earlier, is Gene Bermudez and his big money tree, the city of Laredo's budget. Let us play connect the dots again. Gene Bermudez, UISD, Mike Garza, Tito Garcia, Judd Gilpin and Gilpin Engineering, and the city of Laredo's lucrative contracts. Think about the connection. Doesn't that make you sick? It is this type of corrupt special interest that stagnates any positive growth for the city of Laredo. We can continue to make all the above promises to the citizens of Laredo, but if we don't eliminate this corrupt influence, the city will continue to fall behind our competitors to the north and to the south of us. My name is Manuel Manny Arechiga Jr. I am a small businessman, owner, taxpayer, resident, and most importantly, citizen of Laredo. I am fed up with the way the city is managed and run. Come November 2nd, give me the opportunity to make a difference. I promise you that I have no profit motive. I will do my best to expose and root out the corruptive influences in our city government. Elect me as your next District 6 councilman. I'd like to comment also on the challenge that we received from Emilio Martinez. You know, I've made it very clear that 2 years ago I brought up a group from CEMEX to Laredo to open up a plant here. We talked to the LDF. We received 15 minutes of their time, and we had no return phone call. I think we need to hold the LDF more accountable and with funding and more accountable to promote industry here in Laredo. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. San Miguel?
Yes,
minutes.
thank you very much. And just real quick to answer the question on the challenges, I believe we should bring all industry, and we should limit ourselves in that those regards. I'd like to thank the panel, my colleagues here, a group of fine men, and I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for sharing this time with us. If you have been satisfied with City Hall and city government over the past 8 years, and if you want business as usual, then I am not your candidate. But if you want a public servant, an advocate for the people of this community, then yes, I am your candidate. I will give you the opportunity to participate in how your tax dollars are being used by conducting an annual poll. This way I can have objective numbers and take back to the city manager and tell them, you know, I know that 70% of my constituents want to have this specific project worked on. I'm there for you. I'm there to serve you, not for me, not for what I want to do. I must be clear, there are many issues that face our district and face our community. So I want to hear from you. It's important that I hear your ideas. You can visit my website at runwithcharlie.com. Send me your ideas and thoughts. I vow to work hard for you. And I vow not to put special interests above the needs of everybody in my district. And I vow that the decisions that I make as your city councilman will not only benefit the community today, but more importantly, benefit our next generation. I am Charlie San Miguel. And if you believe in the future of our district, and if you want real change to come to our district, then I ask you to run with me or walk with me, in either case, alongside me. Y con todo respeto, humildad y caridad, les pido su apoyo, su oración y su voto, porque con Charlie San Miguel sí se puede. Muchas gracias y que Dios me los bendiga.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Martinez, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you're coming up here now to make a decision. You're going to vote. You've seen the differences between us. We've talked about economic development. This is my idea. A high-tech solution and a high-tech business that's spreading across the country is the movie industry. The third largest state that produces movies is Louisiana, actually Shreveport, a city that's not unlike our own in terms of population. I would study and propose bringing in the movie industry here, combining TAMIU to set up a curriculum in all facets of it, getting the state involved because they've recently passed a law that allows for the motion picture industry to develop in the state of Texas. We could grab hold of a 21st century city instead of looking for 19th century industries, which will not come to Laredo. That is my idea. That is what I would study. Now, you've seen the differences between us. I want to cut your taxes. My opponents don't. Sure, they talk about efficiency. You're not going to get efficient unless you cut the taxes. The appraisal district is mostly controlled by the school districts. They have a bigger vote. You're not going to control them through the city. What we can control is our local tax rate. That's what I want to cut. I also want to cut our water bills. They're too high. We're coming to the end of this election season. And yeah, you may want to accuse me, but if you look at me, you will not find me on any city contract. I don't want to do business with the city. You're not going to find me on anything having to do with the city other than representing you, coming out as a citizen to represent your interests. I want to do it as your city councilman now. I'm asking for your vote. Please help me, help you.
Thank you. Mr. Fred Santos, 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Fred Santos. I've worked with civic organizations over the past 15 years and volunteered my time to my community. Many of those in District 6 working hard with Keep Laredo Beautiful, the Boys and Girls Club, and many others. I've donated my time and I've walked the district. And campaigning this year, I've learned to see the needs of the people. And their needs are traffic concerns, tax evasion. We need to get more connected with our people in our district. And that's why I'm proposing that we need more communication. We need to have town hall meetings in the Shiloh area, San Isidro, Del Mar, Plantation, Winfield, JSJ. We need to get to know the problems that are going on in our district. The JSJ entrance needs to get resolved. There's so many traffic concerns down McPherson. We need to synchronize our lights during our high peak hours. My thing is communication. You could call me at whatever time. You could log onto my website at fredforlaredo.com and email me, and I will respond to your concerns. The biggest thing that we need to have is transparency and communication with our council member. We need to have somebody that will return calls with whatever issue you all may have. I thank all of our panel here. I think we're all in it for the right reasons, and we need to go forward in our district. It's growing very rapidly. I've been born and raised in District 6 and seen the changes throughout the years. We see the parks going and developing. We need to just be connected more with the people. We need to bring more jobs to our district and to the city of Laredo as a whole, and we need to work together on council to make our issues and concerns known to the people. Thank you.
Orly Navarro, 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much for having us come into your living room so that we could talk about the issues. I've spent the last 8 years learning how the system works and what needs to be done for our community. It's all volunteer based. I stepped up and I wanted to learn. I got involved with the different departments. I didn't just start talking to the directors this week or a couple of days ago. I've been working at this for 8 years to understand the system. When I get involved, I try to help the community. One of the things I can tell you, that's what I'm doing today. I'm not making promises of when I become a councilman, what I'm going to do. I'm doing it now because any of us, all taxpayers, can volunteer their time to get involved. You can't just be critical. You can't just start creating stories and expect that's what's going to change Laredo. You have to get involved. You have to volunteer your time. That is what I've done for the last 8 years to help our community. That's what I wanted to do because I want a better city for my children. My father and mother told me if you want to do something, you have to study and you have to work hard at it.